Not safe for anybody else.
If only he had cared for these Catholic school children the same way and gotten them the school security that they needed. Matt, you commented on this early morning today.
Yeah, so how outrageous is this that you have a politician who said no to protecting Catholic school kids, which have a large share of the kids that are being educated in the state of Minnesota, wouldn't provide guards, armed guards for their protection, although he makes those schools and tries to force them to comply with all their woke agenda. Minnesota is a state in which you can get an abortion up until the moment before you would deliver the child. It's a state in which they have mainstreamed and mainlined the idea of getting these drugs to do drug therapy to change the outward appearance of your gender.
Your child's gender.
And now, what a shock that you see a state that would elect Ilhan Omar is a state that just is riddled with violence. I don't think it's an accident that the terrible tragedy around what happened to this country around Black Lives Matter and George Floyd. This is a state that has serious problems, and we seriously considered as a country electing this governor to be our vice president. One final thing, we should care about these people, including this murderer. He's a child of God. Every one of us is a child of God. Up to 45% of trans people literally try to commit suicide.
That's right.
This is a very, very troubling thing that we're putting into people. I understand people are troubled, but we can't give them the easy answer when it's going to make them even more trouble.
And the Democrats are growing the population very deliberately and consciously, a major effort over the course of years to grow the number of people that identify as transgender. And again, 40% at least attempt suicide. Now, you just mentioned the lieutenant governor of the state, too, who was at Peggy Flanagan, who was at an event and wore a black T-shirt with trans endorsing transgenderism. There it is. And look at the giant combat knife across her chest. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a bad representation of the Marine Corps K-bar knife with a blood groove on it, the same kind of knife that was used to massacre the students in Idaho, that she has across her shirt, which is endorsing transgenderism. And these people are sick, and she's got a big smile. She's at a rally pushing this stuff, selling this stuff, and they got teenagers who might be confused about their sexuality, and these people sink their creepy teeth into them, and before you know it, they're taking hormones for the other gender, and then they've lost their minds.
I want to bring this up. The left's hatred for prayer has never been more evident following yesterday's tragedy. Take Jen Psaki, for example, dismissing prayer through crocodile tears on her show last night.
Having your child killed while they are sitting in a pew for a morning prayer service is not what any parent should have to worry about. And I have felt a mixture of anger and a lot of anger and emotional exhaustion about this today, as I'm sure many of you have, because we have been here so many times. And yet again, like clockwork, half of the politicians in our country have little more to offer than thoughts and prayers. That is all they are offering. You're going to start seeing narratives. You're already seeing them. They're already out there about how the shooter was trans. You're going to see narratives about how the shooter appeared to be anti-Trump and anti-Semitic and clearly was in the midst of a mental health crisis. There's no question about that.
All of the above, anti-Trump, and was in the midst of a mental health crisis. And yes, prayer is critical in helping these families heal. Current White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt saw Psaki's display, explaining to her predecessor why prayer is so necessary.
Frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful to the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful to deride the power of prayer in this country, and it's disrespectful to the millions of Americans of faith. And I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves who need it right now more than ever.
I mean, Alex, do you think Psaki do they just not get it?
No, I don't think they do. And actually, I thought about that exact point, and I went and looked at polling. I mean, 81% of Americans believe in God. I think it's like 70% identify as Christian. You can pray, and your instinct after what you saw is to pray, but then you can also later talk about what needs to be done. You don't have to harp on those that turn to prayer,
you actually
right?
can do both.
Well, exactly.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.